Okay, good morning everybody. What an interesting topic for discussion today, but firstly may I thank my co-presenters for setting the scene so well, and hopefully I'll be able to tie into some of the themes that you're seeing coming out today. Fit for future. Well, this is very much crystal ball gazing, but we certainly have enough evidence around us to start to draw together a picture of what our building stock need to look like in order to meet the needs of the discerning investor, occupier and our clients. So in my short slot today, I plan to briefly cover the following main topics. What makes an efficient, low-carbon building attractive to investors? I'm going to conclude a couple of case studies of what we achieved across our managed portfolio. And if I have time, I'll discuss the practical steps that we can take as responsible asset managers. I do have to apologise in advance. I've got a bit of a cold, so if I get tangled in my speech, I'll try and recover as quickly as possible. Okay, for an investor, it's all about future-proofing portfolios so that we can respond to opportunities in future markets. Most importantly here is income generated by rental value and decreasing rates of obsolescence. It seems to me that and I'll call them green properties, if their green properties are increasingly preferred by tenants and investors over brown properties, whether for reputational or simply by cost-effective reasons, brown buildings will experience a faster rate of obsolescence and attract a higher risk premium than green buildings. It's not really rocket science. This suggests that in time, green buildings will exhibit a lower capitalisation rate and therefore, for a given level of rent, a higher value than their brown counterparts. As this pricing of green and brown assets diverges, green efficient buildings will ultimately outperform brown. So in this respect, it is probably better viewed that green efficient assets will see their value better protected than brown buildings in the future. Rather than holding any romantic notion that greenness will actually somehow enhance value, greenness will simply become the new accepted standard for the property market, and brown buildings will be less able to compete. Let me give you an example of what we have achieved at some of our managed properties. Griffin Industrial Estate in Southampton, and also Waterside Shopping Centre in Lincoln. At Griffin Industrial Estate, which was built in the 1980s, we completed a substantial refurbishment of a parade of derelict industrial units totalling over 3,300 square metres. During the refurbishment, we incorporated a number of low and no-cost green initiatives, including the use of recycled carpet, organic paints and sustainable timber. We also installed energy-efficient devices such as T5 light fittings and increased the natural lighting of the warehouses by 15%, by increasing the skylight provision and increasing surface finishes. Overall, the building improvements that we made, the enhancements cost about 25% more than you would for a typical refurbishment. However, the results of the refurbishment works were well received by external parties and potential tenants. As a result, prior to us actually completing the works, we were able to fully let the premises to the whole parade for high quality covenants with very strong leasing potential. And it actually raised the market rent of our buildings just through these improvements. Furthermore, since occupying the warehouses in 2008, our tenants have actually been able to operate without the need of internal artificial lighting, which saves them approximately 60 tonnes of CO2 and 40% of energy savings. This has had a considerable positive impact on the company's operating costs and business margins as a result. At Waterside Shopping Centre, our teams recognise that there are a number of improvements that could be made to maximise resource efficiency. For example, we launched an energy awareness and staff engagement program. It wasn't a huge investment, but it was something that had real impact. We also installed a new waste segregated management system and compactor systems for cardboard and plastic. Lighting was reduced through the use of bright paints, timers, energy efficiency and T5 light fittings. Natural ventilation of the centre was improved by maximising the use of roof vents and main entrances. Air handling units are now permanently switched off. These improvements have a reduced electricity consumption, saving approximately 80 tonnes of carbon dioxide per year. The segregated waste management system improved recycling rates to 44% with a 50% reduction in waste handling costs. So we can see here firsthand that low carbon and low cost improvement works, and it makes financial sense. But I haven't yet touched on the driver for investors that is perhaps rivaling the bottom line driver, and that is corporate image and reputation. It is clear that the big players need to manage perceptions and performance, and how better than through the green agenda. To perform well, organisations need a robust and transparent efficiency program which will differentiate them from the cowboys in the market. Take, for example, the global study published earlier this year by Maastricht University in the Netherlands. This identified the green leaders in Europe, including the top 10 private property funds, 2 of which I can proudly say are funds managed by Prudential. However, and quite disappointingly, the study also highlighted that despite the fact that energy-saving investments can create value, the majority of survey participants are not yet actively managing environmental and energy efficiency in their portfolios. So in the few minutes I have left, I have just a few practical steps that have worked for us in making our portfolio more future-proofed. Number 1, metering and monitoring. Quite simply, it's the old adage of if you can't manage it, if you don't measure it. Secondly, engagement between landlords and occupiers. This really is a partnership to success, which can be strengthened through green leases or memorandums of understanding, which the Better Buildings Partnership have recently produced a toolkit which you can download from their website. And 3, a structured improvement program, prioritising the low and no-cost improvements before making expensive capital investment programs. It's quite simple, really. Now it's all about less crystal ball gazing and more about taking action to improve our building stock. Thank you very much.